Welcome to Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast. It's your host Hatch with my boy.
This is T.O. Yeah, get your popcorn ready. We got a great guest coming to the show today.
Man, I like saying to the stage. I like saying I'm going to keep because it's a world stage. Our podcast is a stage for the world.
No, man. I operate on a show. I don't operate on stages.
I'm on the. You're right. I'm on the world stage. You're just like
I'm on a show.
On the show called Get Your Popcorn Ready.
That's right. I come to your living room, baby. I come to your mobile devices. I come to your iPad, your E-pad, your T-pad, everything pad.
To your mobile home as well. That's where he's going to show up, ladies and gentlemen. And you can catch us on the Himalaya app or wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Terrell Owens. You'll see the audio, not the audio, but the video to these audio episodes that we have every week. So be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel, my YouTube channel.
Our YouTube channel.
You don't have one.
I'm on this one, chump. Hey, today we got Robert Quinn coming to the show. Outside linebacker, pass rusher, two-time Pro Bowler, was an All-Pro in 2013. And did you know he was also Defensive Player of the Year for the Pro Football Weekly magazine as well in 2013? So you didn't even know that, did you?
No, I didn't. But you said a magazine. That's a little bit
Pro Football Weekly. Pro Football Weekly. It's one of the major,
publications.
Yes.
Okay,
that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So
okay, I didn't know.
But he can go. Like he's a speed guy off the edge rusher.
So he would be considered like a tweener linebacker.
He's definitely a definition of a tweener linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end. He's got over 80 sacks in his career. And he's only going on his 10th year. So he's going, right? He's going. Of course, he just got a new deal, got some new money in the bank, 5-year, $70 million contract. So
I hope he got a lot of that up front. I
think we'll get into it with him, have a nice discussion with Robert Quinn, outside linebacker, defensive end for the Chicago Bears.
He messed around and catch the coronavirus and miss some games. They're going to ask for his money back.
Hey, hope not. You know what? Like I said, we're going to get into his top 5 as well. We're going to get into his top 5, and I guarantee there's going to be somebody he's going to mention that a lot of you guys are surprised that he will put in his top 5 pass rushers in the NFL right now.
Oh, no doubt. So definitely tune in to the show. We're not going to reveal who his top 5 is, and we're not going to reveal who his number 1 is on his list. So you got to tune in just to hear this number 1. It's very surprising.
On Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast. Follow us on the Himalaya app or wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Terrell Owens. Check it out.
Yeet!
Welcome to Get Your Popcorn Ready with T.O. and Hatch. Yes, sir.
In the building, coming to the stage today, our boy Robert Quinn, 2-time Pro Bowler, 2013 Pro Football Weekly. Why does nobody know that about you, though? Like, I didn't even know you was 2013 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Why does nobody know that about you?
It was a long time ago. It don't matter.
And I see you got first team. Yeah, and I see you got first team All Pro. First team All Pro. That was 2013. That was 7 years ago, man.
That's what you do now.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out how you get this 5-year, $70 million. You just got first team All Pro one time, man. What you doing? You went in there. You stood him up, put a gun to their head.
Well, I mean, not to brag about myself, but numbers don't lie. If you look at what I did last year, numbers don't lie. From stats and everything else. So, I guess that's what I was able to get myself a little 5 for 70. So
there it is.
Take it and run with it.
Already. What year is this for you?
This going into year 10.
Okay, how do you think how many more years? This is year 10 with the 5-year extension. So we're looking at 15, hopefully 15 years after this.
Honestly, I'm honest with myself. It's 1 year at a time. I mean, I've been through a lot. And I like to take it one day. Honestly, I take it one day at a time. Tomorrow's not promised. And I don't say that just on, just because everything I really live that, on a day-to-day basis. Tomorrow's not promised. So, I just try to appreciate each and every day. And when if tomorrow does come, we'll see what we do with it.
So with that mindset, with that approach, obviously renegotiating, getting this new contract, having that mindset of 1 day at a time, 1 year at a time, does that factor into your signing bonus, how much you negotiated up front versus, like you said, the totality of the $70 million? Because a lot of people that's watching, obviously a lot of fans, I think they know now that just especially in the NFL, not Major League Baseball, not NBA. If you're in one of those two sports, if it says 5 years, $70 million, you're going to be guaranteed that $70 million. So, going into that, that mindset, that process of taking it 1 day at a time, 1 year at a time, is that how you negotiate it? So like your upfront, your signing bonus to get as much as you want for upfront?
Well, the weird thing is, going into this year, year 10, this was actually my first year of being a true free agent. So, I had a, in a sense, I was a rookie all over again, trying to, figure out how this, true free agency process worked. So, me and my agent went back and forth, figured out, like we said, went through all the pros and cons, with the, how long the contract, how long I think I can play, how, just, weighing out everything. Like I said, this really was my first time being a true free agent. So,
nice.
I didn't really know how to approach it. And I just went in, just a clear mind as possible. And, like I said, I took it, had the 1 year out approach. Year one was what I got. It was great, great deal for me. So again, just took it around with it.
Well, shoot, either way, I want to say congratulations on that. And, congratulations on a great career so far as well. But
I appreciate it.
As a receiver, we're built like we're speed guys, like I said, we were speed guys. And once we lose a step, especially for me, like T.O. kept getting faster as he was getting older. Like I lost a step and they got rid of me the next day. So, but, you're a burst speed guy, like a defensive end / outside linebacker speed rush guy. So you going into your 10th year, how are you staying in shape to continue to keep that speed and that agility? As they like to say, once you hit that 10th year, you're starting to slow down, but it still looks like you kind of got that same burst.
Well, I mean, like as you learn throughout the years, your legs are key. You don't, and I know that sounds so, cliche or whatever it may be, but if your legs go, it seems like your whole body falls apart. So, with your legs and kind of your core, like I know I'm really starting to sound old.
There it is. Right. There it is.
Just really just trying to, like I said, your legs and, your core, because that's kind of your stability. So, and as I learned, was taking it for, my age for granted, think, I can, rely on that. Like anyway, to answer the question, I really had to focus on taking care of my body, stretching, not taking as much time off, rehabbing, with the sauna, whatever it may be, just making sure my body is being, treated like a temple. So,
nice.
I mean.
And are you eating right too? You like eating right, and how's that? Like, because that's the hardest part of all this.
See, I'm from the South. I don't know what y'all really consider eating right. If it's fried, that's right to us. Regardless. I mean, I'm 6'4". I think right now I'm like 245. So I think that's pretty solid. So I don't know. I mean, I think I can run all day. I think I look the part, Right. So, I mean, I don't know, to each his own. It worked for me.
Yeah, so I think as Hatch was alluding to, I mean, obviously nutrition and what you were alluding to, nutrition and obviously, taking care of your body in the off season as far as your approach to, I guess, weightlifting and things of that nature. I'm sure that's probably at the forefront of where you are right now as far as you talk about performance. As you said, this is your first year being a true free agent. So obviously stats don't lie. So you still have been able to produce in the position that you are now. So obviously with this new team, what do you think those transitions will be? Do you think, obviously with the new team, obviously you got to get comfortable with your new teammates? Is the same system with the 3-4, or do they have some new wrinkles? Are they going to add some other things to their defense because of what you bring to the table? And a last part of that is, are you looking forward to working with some? You got a stud in Khalil Mack. What do you think you guys are going to bring to the table?
Well, you look at it, and I think it was 2 years ago they were we're 12-4. Just I think it was a game away from the, if I'm not mistaken, Super Bowl or whatever. No, it was. I don't really remember it. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, and last year didn't go quite the way that they wanted. So all I'm trying to do is they already had the talent there. They already had the pieces there. I'm just trying to bring in, I guess the icing on the cake. Just I believe in my talents. I know what I bring to the table, and I know what I know what they had there already. So I know, I know that, again, not saying as you can tell, I'm not the type of cocky like to talk about myself. I think I know what I bring to the table. I know what they have, and I think with that formula, we can do something special this year. And like you said, with Khalil on the other side, you got Hicks in the middle. That defense. You can talk about the whole defense, and
right.
Honestly,
crazy.
So
again,
I'm not even.
Right. You don't have to pat yourself on the back, but again, we understand your abilities. Obviously, they don't pay anybody just 5 year, give them a 5 year, $70 million contract just because they look the part. So obviously, you've been producing. Again, like I said, I understand what you're trying to convey when you talk about being added to a defense that already is kind of high powered. When I went over to Philly, it was kind of the same thing offensively. I already knew what they had in tow when they had Donovan, they had Correa Burkhalter, they had Brian Westbrook, they had some receivers, they had some tight ends there that were able to do some things offensive. But when I came there, it was almost kind of like I tipped the scale for them. I was considered sort of like an X factor. So it's good, bro. It's not being arrogant. It's not being cocky. It's really just supporting what they've been able to, do with you contractually. So you coming over there and kind of anchoring, kind of solidifying, that defense. That's a plus, bro. Because I think about, as you said, the year before they went like 12-4. I think they were a game or two from, I guess, obviously getting to the Super Bowl. But then you think last year they had a dip, and that dip probably largely because of their lack of quarterback play and the lack of experience that they had there. So I can see this eerily similar. If you think about some years ago, I think it was around 2000 when you think about the Baltimore Ravens, when they had Ray Lewis and Suggs and all those guys, and they had a sort of like a pedestrian guy at quarterback with Trent Dilfer. That's eerily similar. I see the same makeup, as you guys. So again, you guys can show up sort of like be somewhat a little bit of the offense in a sense. The defense can be some offense because of short fields and things of that nature. And all Trubisky has to do is kind of just manage and not really do too much and just kind of just build from there. So again, we'll pat you on the back, bro.
You ain't got to do it yourself,
right? Bro.
But let me ask you this, then, Q. Is this gonna be the first time that you get to face single blocking schemes? Because you know what I'm saying? Because you've been the double team guy. They've been doubling you your whole career, but now you got Mack, you got Hicks, like you said. They might have to. You might get some one-on-one this year.
No. First of all, it ain't no doubt about it. Because bro, that's a two-headed monster. It's like, okay, who are you going to guard? Are you going to try to take Khalil Mack out and leave this guy one-on-one?
Right. They'll just max protect, I guess, one-man routes.
Bro.
That's not a good option either. So
no, with Eddie Jackson back there.
Whatever they decide to do, it seems like it's working in our favor. So, I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know. Like you said, we're licking our chops. I mean, who are you going to double team up front? Who are you going to who you going to really trust your, I trust the secondary, can guard, guard anyone one-on-one.
Yeah.
And like I said, and I haven't even got in the building yet to really,
have you got to talk to anybody, any new teammates? You talked to them yet at all?
We we got, numbers, and to text a little bit.
Okay.
And I was working out with, Kyle for a little while. So we got the mix, to catch up and, get to know each other a little bit. So,
nice.
It's a weird process, with all this going on, but
yeah,
again, it's like my rookie year. There was that lockout year, so it's when they tell us it's time to go to work, just being like I said, be in the best shape as possible, and hit the ground running.
Got you. Well, what have you been doing during the COVID situation to kind of stay in shape and stay ready? Like I said, you on 1-a-days, 2-a-days right now? What you got going on?
I went kind of back and forth. I started 1-a-days and I picked up the 2-a-days, and I'm like, well, let's slow back down. Now let's go back to 1-a-days. So I'm gonna stick to 1-a-days for a little while.
Already,
for the time being, until I guess we start hearing some things. But
do you think it's gonna be a season? Like, your personal opinion on everything going on?
You're a businessman, right?
Already. It's business, not personal, right? I feel you.
I don't. Regardless, I believe they're going to figure something out. I mean, again, I don't want to make light of the situation, but I mean, I think there's a lot of other worse things going on. But
right. Have you got to know anybody who has it? Like, anybody called you, say, yo, such and such has it, or a family member who's came down with COVID? I only know one person, and everybody I know, that got it.
I'm really kind of struggling.
Right, it's crazy.
No one really jumping off the front of my head.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's just, I mean, I know it's a real thing, and I said I feel bad for the family members of people that are going through this stuff, but again, it's what's going on in the U.S. is not what's going on in some other places across the country or across the world. So it's like hard to get your head around it because you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, you just hear. You turn on the TV and you hear numbers, and you're like, okay, the numbers went up. Like, what does that mean? Because even in Arizona right now, the numbers is going up. But you're like, what does that mean?
Right.
And where I am in Florida, again, as you talk about Arizona, I think it's those two cities. Again, there are two of two dozen cities across the country that have had spikes in the number of cases. And I'm sure you just asked Quinn there about anybody that has contracted the virus. I know. Since all this has happened, I know a few players like Von Miller. I think the latest was Ezekiel Elliott did. Yeah. And so Ezekiel, he was mad. I mean, I think he may be trying to probably file a suit because of HIPAA laws and things of that nature.
They let it out.
Yeah, that's medical information, so that's not supposed to be released. So again, it's going to be tricky. My son is in FAU. And so they're starting to kind of resume some of their workouts and their program. And I just texted him just 2 days ago, and he their whole receiving core has to be quarantined because one of their receivers had a headache or something, like had some symptoms. So they basically now they basically quarantined everybody.
Well, like you said, not that I don't want to trying to make it seem like I'm not sympathetic, but like it's. Right. I keep doing research and hearing about it. And it's like symptoms of the flu. Mm-hmm. So like I anytime you feel the slightest of sickness, you got to basically step away, from the world. And you know what I mean? Like now, is that what today's world about to become? You know what I mean? Now
I hope not.
You sneeze, like, think about it. You see someone sneeze now, you look back like, hold on, like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
walking around nervous.
Yeah. Right. And the thing is, bro, how many times as athletes, how many times have you going to practice and you've had a slight fever, or you had a slight headache, and you don't say anything, bro. You just go out there in the field, you sweat it out, or whatever the case may be. So again, that's going to be tricky because again, there's going to be some players, I'm sure, that may try to push the envelope or may have some symptoms or feel something that may not say anything. And then now you're affecting the team. Now you're going to affect your whole team. Yeah. So it's going to be tricky, bro, as far as, you talked about earlier about, the season starting and what that looks like, the protocols. It's going to be really tricky because again, you think about if, like I said, if one person has it and gives it to somebody else and they don't know they have it, bro, it's going to get real ugly. So that can affect, season play. And then you think about, again, you get in the playoffs.
Too. Yeah. Coaches who are older, the 50, 60-year-old coaches.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a lot of older fuckers that's coaching around there too.
Why they gotta be that, buddy?
I was talking about
that's like during cold season. You say wash your hands more. It's just one of the. To me, I don't want to seem. I don't want to make it seem like I'm like insensitive about this topic, but I mean, like. My thing is, if you think it's a pandemic, like something, like my thing is, I can't live in fear like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like now you got me walking around living in fear. Like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest. When it's my time to go, we gonna go.
Hey man, boy, I know you from the South. That's how I'm from LA. I don't know if you know Robert Quinn, but I'm from the South. And hey. I've heard that so many times in the South, man. We done said that plenty of times. It's my time to go, bro. It's my time to go.
Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can
do. Nothing you can do about it.
You're gonna live every day, you know what I mean? Like it's live it, like live it. It's fun, enjoyable. So why am I gonna live in fear? I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go jump in and put my face into this, into the virus. But I'm not. Why am I gonna sit around and tiptoe the rest of my life, trying to avoid some sickness? Because guess what? One thing that's promised to me is death. So if I'm thinking about death all the time, it might come to me a little sooner than expected. So, I'll try to keep it off the forefront of my mind.
Yeah, two things that's guaranteed to you: death and taxes.
Man.
Right, yeah. I know we talked about Khalil Mack a little bit. Have you guys spoken with each other? Obviously, you guys are on the cusp of possibly starting the season. Again, that's amazing, especially when you get two dynamic players, especially you guys on both sides of the ball. I mean, have you guys talked about, what the season may look like? Talked about, again, some of the defensive schemes. Again, you bringing to the table some of the things that work well for you. Do you bring some of those physical attributes will be there, but are you going to bring some of that knowledge to the defense of what they know that you can do to that defense, in addition to what he can bring?
Well, I guess one is me learning the defense, the ins and outs, that's number one for me. So whenever Coach P calls a play, I don't even have to. My brain shouldn't have to think. It's second nature.
And so, who you say, Coach P? Who is Coach P?
Pagano.
Okay, Coach Pagano.
Head coach Chuck Pagano, head coach of Chicago Bears.
Okay, yeah. I just want, Okay, I got you.
So yeah, I mean, so that's kind of like, of course, that's being a professional. You need like one of the rookie things. If you don't know the playbook, you can't play. So that's the simple fact of no matter how talented you are, again, that's my number one. But then, like you said, with the talent of Khalil and knowing the attention he's going to attract, and knowing, again, like I said, what I think I can bring to the table, how we can balance that, I think. And like I said, I feel like I can't talk about just us two because I feel like I'm leaving someone else out. And like I feel like someone, Hicks in the middle, and I'm thinking the linebackers, like, well, they ready to trick. Like my brain just thinking, like, like it's. I know I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see how the defense gets.
Let me tell you, if I'm Robert Quinn, the first couple of plays, and I know I got Khalil Mack on that end. Let me tell you something, boy. I'm finna duct tape my ears to the back of my skull, and I'm
going 100
until they stop it. Because, like I said, at this point, obviously you have to play your principles and your defensive scheme.
Right.
But if it's an opportunity where I got to pin my ears back, and you see that they may be double teaming, they may be fanning out to double team your boy over there, man, I'm finna eat this dude.
I'm coming.
Hey, and like I said, I know it, and I get it. There's layers to the defense. You know, you got the defensive front, and you got that second tier, then you got that back end. But everything starts with you guys up front. And then I'm sure those guys on the second level and that back end, trust me, they thinking the same way you thinking. They like, my guy finna get there. So they gonna play close attention to those receivers or what have you. They thinking pick sixes. They thinking, man, they thinking about loose balls, fluttering in the air. So I'm sure, man, you guys gonna pin your ears back. Like I said, if I'm Robert Quinn, and I know, like I said, the guys that you've already mentioned, oh my God, nigga, I'm gonna go to the training room. I may stop by AutoZone, nigga. I'm gonna get some duct tape and I'm gonna pin my ears back. I'm telling you, what?
I'm 100.
What you talking
100
about? 100
mile an hour, boy.
Yeah, man. But I'm loving this conversation, man. I love your mindset, man. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Pass
man.
rush, pass rush specialist Robert Quinn here on Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast.
Yes.
So we know you're a specialist, right? So give us your top 5 of pass rush specialists you think in the NFL right now. Like I said, I know there's Frank Clark out there. There's Daniel Hunter, Jadeveon Clowney, there's Bosa, Lawrence.
Do you want like just edge, or like do you want the
just pass rushers? You can use tackles too, because I know Aaron Donald's in there because he can get to it.
He's been top 5 since he entered the league, so
since he came in this thing, right? But give us your top 5, not necessarily 1 through 5, but give us your top 5.
Just top 5.
I'm gonna start with this guy because I think he's cold. Like when I say cold, he's cold. And I think he's underrated. I think he's underrated. Chandler Jones. I don't get
Arizona Cardinals.
Right?
Arizona Cardinals. Chandler Jones.
Man, he is. I'm just because everyone just because we said you already said Vaughn and Chandler Jones. That dude cold, man. Like I don't care what you say. You go look at his game. Like that dude cold. Then you want to go.
He doesn't get the attention that everybody else. Because, like I said, I've heard his name. You look at his statistics.
I think he's just young still.
No, I mean, I think he's going in the year
Is he going
9?
9, yeah. He's been there for a minute.
Yeah,
man, that's crazy.
I'm going in the year, and I look at this. I'm going to, and I know his stats, and so I'm trying to. I study
already as well. You should.
I'm like, man, I don't know how. Like, I got respect for the dude. I mean, but again, it's just the bit, the nature of the business. Some guys just have a little more, I guess, oomph to their name. But to me, he deserves to be top 5. His numbers alone puts him in the top 5. Who else? Von Miller. He's been my favorite, pass rusher since we got into the league together.
Okay. Chandler Jones, Von Miller. We got 3 more.
Von Miller.
3 more.
You got Clark out there. You got Jadeveon, Bosa, DeMarcus Lawrence, Calais, Myles Garrett, Cameron Jordan, Khalil.
See, you got me selecting 5.
That's the tough part. It's easy. It's easy to do 10.
Yeah,
we're gonna make you cut some people out.
It's your top 5. It ain't like I said. It's not no comparison for anybody else. It's like who you think your top 5. You're not, throwing anybody on the bus. According to you.
Oh, if I had to pick a top 5,
you're the general manager.
Okay, I'm going Chandler Jones, Von Miller. Those are my outside backers. Then I'm taking Khalil. I'm gonna put him at Mike backer because I'm somehow look. I got my brain going.
Right.
Okay.
then I got Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Already.
Then let's see. That's 1, 2, 3. I need one more big guy.
You need one more.
And I'm gonna go with.
Man, you ain't gonna put yourself in the mix. You crazy.
Man, that's so easy though.
Hey, Q, don't listen to T. And if it was up to T and you said top 5 receivers, he gonna put him 1 through 5. So you do your thing, dog.
I would have said one. You starting a franchise? Who you need? Me. That's it. You know what I mean? Like,
what else you need? What else you need?
If you feel like you top 5, you top 5. That's I was a
I'm trying to give like a
the politically correct.
Then I'll put myself number 5 then.
Okay. There you go.
5.
There you go.
Chandler Jones.
I like
it. Khalil Mack.
Von
Miller and
Robert Quinn.
Right.
That's top 5.
Top 5,
okay.
Bro. Man, bro. Hey, I ain't gonna let you Hey, I ain't gonna let you doubt yourself, bro. Hey,
I appreciate that.
Absolutely, bro. Man, let me tell you something. You gotta believe in yourself. Hey, that was a point. That was a point in time in my career, bro. Somebody would have asked me, like, was I top 5? Like, no, I wasn't in the top 5. But when you think about as my career progressed, and I felt like, what I was doing was measured up, it was comparable to what they were doing on the field. Okay, I'm finna put myself in the mix.
I would say,
very true.
As a player, if they were like, hats, like you say, you played years, you played with some of the great ones. It's like, what didn't you have to be great? And I would say I never got that confidence as the TOs and the Mosses had in their game. Like I had confidence in myself, but I never I never had enough success to say on every play, I know I can beat every single person in the league.
Right.
And that's a big difference. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
I got it. Right.
Yes. And that's what you're to is the experience. It's the experience.
Yeah. I get that. Well, being from South Carolina, you ain't got no. That's how y'all grew up down there. Y'all some football playing Jessies down there, boy.
I mean, there's nothing else much going on. Run the woods, or run the yard. Like I said, find something to do to stay out of trouble.
Absolutely. Well, they've been a lot.
Right.
They've been a lot in the news, of course, regarding a lot of the players, especially from Clemson, DeAndre Hopkins speaking out, Deshaun Watson speaking out on some of the people regarding the Black Lives Matter protesting and some of their, people they had on that campus at Clemson. And so I'm sure you got to see a lot of racism, systemic racism where you grew up, right? I'm sure you have. So what's your take on everything going on right now? And like I said, what's some of the experiences you might have been through in your past as well, growing up in South Carolina?
If you want to be straight honest, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by none of this. As a kid, I'm used to, there's stores where they fly Confederate flags. Like they, they got the flags. They have marked. Like I seen this growing up. Like
it's part of it, right?
And they say it's history. Who history is it? Like what does your history stand for? Right. Like you allow history to go on that belittle people that look like us and consider it okay. Like that's what I dealt with. You know what I mean?
So give me a because again, people who listen, they don't understand. Well, Confederate flag it's about the history, but give us a real life situation when you were at a store and you saw a Confederate flag on the outside, but you went into that store.
The store? You mean school?
Right. So you're going into school where the Confederate flag's on the outside.
They're wearing shirts with this stuff. Like they got shirts with Confederate flags and all this stuff on. Wow. Like what does the Confederate flag mean? Segregation. Like they did not want to mix white and blacks.
Right.
And they allowed that into the school and said it's history. Now tell me am I going crazy? Or that sound a little that sound a little I'm trying to use the right word.
Politically correct word.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like how is that okay?
It's what you're probably looking for is hypocrisy.
Consider this flag that demoralize people of my color and say that history is okay. You know, that's American history, but that's okay. It's white American history, which people don't want to. That's where we don't want to break the barrier. You know what I mean? So that what you were saying is when I've said I'm no gang member, I'm no nothing. But if I've said I've had a red flag or blue flag, you're gonna look at me sideways. You know what I mean? But if I had someone where I'm from walking down with a Confederate flag, no one even bats an eye. And to me, that's the same thing.
Right, because you know what
it's all about perspective.
Right.
It's up now. You know what I mean? So to me, I'm not shocked by none of this. It's American from what they said, America is, when it started at 16, whatever, it's the white American. From there on to now, it's been the same story over and over again. Why are people surprised?
Yeah, I think what you were looking for, there's a lot of hypocrisy into a lot of this when you think about especially schools, and they feel like, okay, they can fly the Confederate flag, but then they're taking prayer out of schools. You know what I mean? You can take prayer out of schools,
but you can't take the Confederate flag out of school.
Right. So again, it's ridiculous in so many ways. Again, I think obviously the death of George Floyd has really sparked some changes. Do we still have a long way to go? Absolutely. Again, until some of these laws are changed, nothing will change. And so that's where I think overall as a country, things will start to pivot, things will start to shift, is when we can revise some of these laws that are in place that are supposed to be equal opportunity as far as under our Constitution. Just as we're educating ourselves and our kids to prevent certain measures when we get stopped by police cops, I think white America needs to start educating their kids about what it is to love someone of another color, and mainly black lives. And I think that's
I have an issue, and one of my best friends said I go like this Bob Marley route. It's like how can we have laws to control people? You, as a man, you know what's right and what's wrong. There's a basic elementary rule.
Humanity. Humanity.
Treat your neighbors like you want to be treated. Like I know not to go kill nobody. Like I know, I know, you know what I mean? Like there's certain stuff like I shouldn't have to, I shouldn't have to be basically forced to live in a certain under control because, I don't know. I think it's laws are messing up people's mind to an extent of, like I said, my boys started going to my rabbit hole. And my brain,
that's all right. You're allowed.
my brain starts spinning. You know what I mean? It's like there's basic principles to life. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't harm nobody. You shouldn't steal from nobody. Like so, like why in the back of my mind, like I know if I do that, like why should I constantly be reminded I shouldn't do this? And in a sense, as a kid, when you were told you shouldn't do something, you go do it. You know what I mean? So, if you look at today's world, you tell people don't go do it. Well, people are going to do it more and more. You know what I mean? So, I mean, to me, it's the way everything is kind of approached, and it makes it seem like they want so much control. Like there's there's so much control that there's no control, and like I said, my brain gets to.
Right. I think the laws have to be evolved. And I just did an interview prior to this. The laws have to change just as the world has evolved as well. When you think about, technology and where we are today, when you think about 20 years ago, guess what has changed? The way that, technology has evolved. Exactly. When you think about, everything that, 10 to 20 years ago, is it the same now as it was 10, 20 years ago? Absolutely not. Now, to make my point, you think about the laws that are in place for humanity, for Americans that are living in this country. Those laws were made for people way back when, like hundreds and 200 years ago. So these laws need to change and evolve with the times, just as people have. So until those laws are changed, to where America can be implemented and constructive to all humankind. And again, like you said, we're basically operating under the laws of old school.
Hundreds of years ago.
I'm saying the people in office now, whomever, the laws needs to be revised at the end of the day. They need to be revised and then put into place again and evolve just as America has evolved.
Yeah. It's the same thing in the NFL. Like, do you feel any type of way with the NFL only having 3 African-American coaches, head coaches right now? Is like, do you see that? Because some people don't even see it. So,
what's that rule?
The Rooney Rule? The Rooney Rule?
The Rooney Rule, yeah.
Shouldn't that be a slap in the face, right? That you put a rule into place that you have to have black coaches.
They don't get interviewed,
but they're not adhering to that.
They're not adhering to it. No, they're not interviewing like they're saying they're interviewing.
Think about what I just said. You put a rule into place that you force clubs to have a certain percentage of black clubs in this or in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe again, my brain get to spinning too much, but I'm.
Yeah, because it's not happening. Right.
But no, what I'm saying is like where with that rule, with the situation of America, like where do people are really just that ignorant to the fact of this is America. Like this is how it was built. Let's you know what I mean? Like it was built off the backs of
African American people. Yeah, absolutely.
And now, and I know I'm going off route again, but again, it's like to have that simple rule, it that bothers me. Like, why do you have to have a rule in place that put people that look like us in charge? If that rule wasn't in place, we basically
wouldn't be given the opportunity. Yeah, right. They have to put it's been so much talk about it to where again they have to implement a rule just so it can appease against to the public and to Black America that we're giving you guys an opportunity. But then again, they find loopholes around it by if there's a head coaching position available, if there's an offensive coordinator position available, these owners, they already know who they're going to hire, but they're going to just get a token Black guy or coach just to fulfill that quota.
If they can give it to you, they can take it from you. That's why you don't like that. Like when I speak about laws and stuff, like there's certain core life, like human life principles, that doesn't require no man-written laws. And like you said, man, like I said, I grew up with this nonsense of America, and I'm kind of laughing at it. Like people finally just
seeing what you've been seeing your whole life.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I raised my fist, people said I disrespected the flag. But when I said what I was making it for, they ignored the message. Now guess what? Guess what? 6-7 years later, guess what? Back here again. Back here, but guess what? Now they're saying it's okay for us to take a knee. It's okay for us to raise our fist. The white man saying it's okay.
Right. White, yeah.
Which makes it, now you're saying that makes it okay. So why wasn't okay, like you said, 6-7 years ago? Why? Because it wasn't. It didn't meet the approval of the white people. Now all of a sudden, now we've protesting. Black people have basically voiced their opinion, and we're tired of being killed. Now these rules and things have been put in place.
Now it's okay.
Now now you want to Roger Goodell's like, oh, now we believe in Black Lives Matter. Well, Black lives obviously didn't mean too much to you 6-7 years ago. Now it takes something like this to spark and get the attention that Black Lives Matter when Colin Kaepernick knelt 4 years ago and it fell on deaf ears? Man, get out of here! Come on.
And how many lives have been lost in between? Like how many lives?
Yeah, between
that. You know what I mean? And again, it's over and over and over and over and over again. Like it's
Yep.
Man.
Do you get back to South Carolina a lot now?
Do I get back to South Carolina?
Yeah.
Like really like once a year.
Right.
You know, me and
families.
Dunlap will do the football camp.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll go back for like a week. And I'm usually just sitting in whatever city or whatever team I'm playing for. I'm just sitting in the city and staying out the way.
Yeah,
Mike. Okay, Ben. So I can relate. I want to get your take on this because me becoming successful from my hometown, like I said, I wasn't expected to do the things that I did and become who I became from my town, and so I never really got back to my hometown a whole lot. So I get a lot of criticism. I get some of my own, my own community, trying to trash and bash my name because they say, "Oh, I don't give back," or I forgot where I came from. But the thing is like when I grew up, I never really was at the forefront. I was never considered a superstar high school player. So again, I was pretty much an introvert raised by my grandmother. So I didn't really get out and didn't have a whole lot of friends. So I didn't really feel a need to really go back to my hometown. And it's not that I don't like to give back, but being at home when I grew up, going back really didn't feel like being at home when I went back. So now what you're saying, like you said, going back maybe once a year, because I find it very surprising that, again, you being who you are, do you get the same sort of backlash from your community, being that you said you may get back to your hometown maybe once, maybe twice a year?
Well, I mean, I guess my route was a little different. I mean, it's.
Yeah, you was a superstar in high school.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that should be a lot of expectations for you being a superstar, going back to your hometown, being in the community, being that, again, like I said, I don't know how often you do it, if you do it every year, or is this something recent that you started doing? But I know, like I said,
since my rookie year, and Carlos Dunlap, his going into his second year. He really started the camp, and that was kind of like our we kind of like our Charleston, a low country weekend, where we kind of gave back to the community. We took the weekend, visit hospitals and go to a school and just little stuff like that.
Nice.
And of course the weekend was for the kids. That's all we really care about is giving back to the kids. Showing them. A lot of the kids come from a rough area, literally right across the road, and showing them that look, just like you said, believe a little bit, have a dream, have a vision, and all of a sudden you can have anything you want. And that's really, kind of our objective. And of course,
what's the name of your camp?
It's a low country kids camp.
Okay.
Low country kids camp. So every year, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So.
Yeah, and Carlos Dunlap, I played a year with him in Cincinnati. Great guy. I enjoyed the year being there with him, and he's become quite a player. Like I said, kind of it was a little question about him in the beginning, but he's turned out to be a pretty good player.
Yeah. So.
That's good. So the camp. So you do the camp. So tell us a little. What else do you like to do besides? Because you do your camp, but that's once a year. So what else are you doing in your spare time? What else? Kind of fuels your fire as far as living.
What do I do, man? Look, I'm trying to tell you, like just waking up is the best thing for me. And awesome. Again, it's like I respect life so much. In the sense that I've been through a lot, and I really do appreciate just waking up, every day.
Awesome.
regardless if I had football or not, like just life, just being able to open my eyes and see the sun is the best thing I can ask for. You know, with my kids of course, but
that's an awesome perspective. I mean, man.
Yeah, I know it's. I can go down the whole story of why, but I mean, it's
what? Yeah, why? Tell us why. We want to know. Tell us why.
High school. 17. It was middle of the football season. I was all year I was really having like migraine headaches. I kind of know the story. And then, anyway, I blacked out a few times. Hospital, discovered I had a brain tumor, and they told me I had a week to live when I was 17. So I'm like, wow. Dang.
Wow,
yeah.
I mean, that's one within itself, and then when I went to college, I actually met a young kid who ended up passing away from a brain tumor as well. You know what I mean? So it's things in life that hit you,
absolutely,
differently, where you're like, holy, you know what I mean? Like just waking up, it's really just the most humbling thing.
Awesome.
So it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. you made it through though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's you're here, you're a walking testimony that, like I said, when the doctor gave you 7 days to live when you're 17, when they say something like that to you at 17, it just crushes you, obviously. But right. Go through that process and be here today, be an NFL player going on 10 years. Again, you're blessed, brother. You're blessed. You're on this reason, man.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that I didn't know that story, so I appreciate you sharing it. But definitely, again, obviously, I think it's put some perspective on life and having appreciation for life. And again, just to be just a Black man in America and going through what we're going through as a country. Obviously, like I said, this is definitely a moment that I can relate to. Especially just having a great appreciation for life, waking up every day, being able to play a sport that you can make a lot of money from. Yeah, man. I mean, you've had an amazing career. I'm sure you're going to continue to have an amazing career. And then with everything that's going on
already,
yeah. So I'm definitely going to be looking forward to Bears game now. I mean, last year, obviously, and the year before that, when Khalil Mack got traded from the Raiders to the Bears, I mean, this guy, the first 4 or 5 games, this dude was, he was my MVP of the season. But then as these teams saw that this guy was a one-man wrecking crew, again, they kind of slowed him down a little bit. So they tried to double team, but he still had a successful season. So just think about what's going to happen now. One of you guys, like I said, you guys are going to be wrecking shop up front, man. So again, we appreciate you talking about a lot of this stuff, man. Again, just talking about just the racism part. Obviously, you have 2 kids. I don't know how old your kids are. Can you tell us how old your kids are?
Well, they'll be turning. They're 8 and 4 right now. They're turning.
Oh, so have you had those conversations? Are they aware of kind of what's going on? I'm pretty sure maybe your 8-year-old. Are you going to look forward to kind of having this type of conversation with them, and even your wife? I don't know what the ethnicity of your wife is, but still, regardless, those are conversations I'm sure as a Black man in America, we can't hide the fact. Yeah, we can't hide around the fact of what we're going through as a country. So I'm sure these conversations have to be had, in your household.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has to be had. I mean, and I guess, and here's like it's. Like and I guess when we go to talk about it, is how do you approach it correctly? Because at the end, and I keep wanting to make this at the end of the day, we're human, like you know what I mean, like and like there's because someone writes something on a piece of paper, that don't mean you're lesser or greater than the next man. You know what I mean? Like and that's what I mean when I said like let's strip down the laws and let's look at life as a whole, like. What are human principles? You know what I mean? Like if you were looking your maker in his eyes, or across from you, how would you treat him? That's exactly how you treat your neighbor. You know what I mean? You know, so we can sit there and preach, you know, as we do, we preach this good game on you need to abide, you need to live this way to go seek heaven, but you go live like the devil, you know, as soon as you get done preaching, you know, preaching the word, you know, it's more teaching my son on how to live with respect, how to live, you know, like treat people with respect, how, you know, with you know, with all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And of course, the color of the skin. That's he gonna learn that. And well, I can teach him now. He's gonna learn that in school. They're gonna look at us. They look at us less anyway. They tell you they look at us 3/5 as a human. You know what I mean? Like so. I mean, like I'm more like I keep trying to say like I understand how people look at me. I get that. I can't change the way people look at me. Now, how I can do it, how I can change the way I look at people. All I can do is love. All I can do is love. I can love or hate you, and the best thing, and I try to love people and love, and hopefully you know get love back. But you know, it seems to be a little difficult, you know, challenge in today's world.
Alrighty. Well, we love you for coming on the show, brother. Like I said, Robert Quinn on Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast. We appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, homie.
I appreciate it.
All good. So yeah, do your thing, Robert. I appreciate you, brother, though. Thanks, man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right, y'all do your thing, boy. My man.
Yeah.
Robert Quinn, great guest. Got a little deep today. Again, a great episode. You know, I said, again, like we were saying, I think with Chris Long a couple weeks ago, how these a lot of these guys, a lot of football players, people think, you know, they're just a bunch of meatheads and don't have feelings and emotions. But, you know, I think we're starting to kind of peel back layers of these guys and people kind of understand these guys are good humans and they're just trying to do the right thing. And they got a lot about their past and they play with chips on their shoulders for a reason.
Yeah. And I think when you think about the climate in which we're in now, what I find really surprising from a lot of white people is that, you know, kind of one of the first two things out of their mouth is it's hard to believe some of the things that we're going through or, you know, what can I do to educate myself about something that's been like kind of right up under their nose and they just haven't really noticed it, so to speak. So again, I like having a guy like Robert Quinn on, basically got a chance to talk to him and he shared some of his experiences being in the South Carolina at that. So you can only imagine what he's going through. So he got a chance to share a little bit of that with us. So, and we had some very interesting moments.
Absolutely.
With him.
And again, we'll kind of describe our top three, our 3 and out segment will describe our top 3 things that we took out of the conversation. And for me, number one, again, going back to where he's from and when he was 17 years old, how the doctor told him he has 7 days to live because of a brain tumor that he had contracted, which is crazy to me to even fathom that information. You know, at 16, 17, you get mad when you go to the dentist and you have a cavity. You know what I'm saying? And a doctor, you know, legitimately told him, like, you have 7 days to live. And he overcame a brain tumor. And now it's, like I said, one of the best pass rushers in our NFL. Is an absolutely amazing story to me.
Yeah, year 10, right?
Yep, going on 10.
Yeah, this is definitely amazing. I would say number 2 to our 3 and out would be, and as you said, not to be insensitive to what's going on in the world, but you know, obviously the pandemic has everybody living in fear. And what I got, you know, from him, you know, basically, you know, saying that I'm not trying to be insensitive to what's going on or what have you, but he can't live his life in fear. So I thought, you know, his faith or his mindset is kind of faith over fear with this pandemic situation going on.
Absolutely. Like I said, big deal for your mental psyche. Because some people, they're so scared, they're starting to be stressed, it's getting themselves sick by being stressed. So they go out and say, just live your life every day during this process to the best of your ability is, you know, again, kudos to him. I think my number 3 thing for the 3 and out was when he was growing up as well, going into a school. His school he went to had a Confederate flag in the school, which is amazing to me. Like I said, I think you even touched about it during the show. Like, they can take prayer out of schools, but you don't want to take the Confederate flag out of schools. Like, that's
very contradicting hypocrisy at its best. is that how can you can allow certain things and know what that meaning stands for in the Confederate flag. And as he said, it's a symbol of segregation. And then again, you have kids that, especially in the Black community, we grew up on prayer. You know what I mean? Things of that nature, taking prayer out of school, things of that nature, again, which is conducive to Black America, our Black culture. That's what we're built on, is going to church, prayer, things of that nature. And it's almost like, stripping these kids, stripping our culture and our community of something that we're raised on, we're brought up on. So, but you want to fly the Confederate flag high above as a representation. I enjoyed him. Great guest.
Great guest. Again, thanks, Robert Quinn, defensive end, outside linebacker for the Chicago Bears, going on 10-year NFL veteran, made over $150 million playing this great game of football. So thank you again, Robert Quinn, coming to the show. Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready, baby. I am going to be looking forward to the Chicago Bears this year. I think it's going to be a toss-up. Who's going to have the most sacks? Is it going to be Robert Quinn, or is it going to be
Khalil Mack? Now we got to get Mack on the show. We got to ask him that question. We got to ask him that question.
I reached out to him 2 days, bro. He hit me back. I hit him in a DM. I said, "Yo, hit me." He hit me, and I was trying to get him to be a surprise guest to come on. Bro, I done hit him 2 days in a row. He hit me. Like, yo, this K Mack
disappear.
Yeah, he's like, yo, this K Mack did a
pump fake. Got you with the.
No, he did an Albert Hainsworth on me.
Hainsworth, come holler at us, dog.
Yeah, he's like, yo, this K Mack. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I hit him up. And I'm like, yo, I called him. Funny. Didn't answer, and then I was like, I thought maybe obviously he was in meetings or whatever. So I hit him yesterday. I'm like, yo, hit me when you get this, because I was gonna tell him like, yo, because I know
just
they
sneak on the
same schedule. Right.
Same schedule.
So I was like, yo, come be a surprise guest. But obviously, like I said, he hasn't hit me back. So damn, I was hoping that I could get the hold of him so he'd come on, for a little bit.
Good. We'll get him. We'll get him on, ask him the same questions. All good. Appreciate you tuning in to Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast. Check us out next week on the Himalaya app or wherever you get your podcast.
That's right. Get your popcorn ready. You see it every week. We post every Tuesday our guests. You get the audio version on Tuesday. On Thursday, you get the video version.
Get to see my beautiful face.
That's right. So don't forget to, again, subscribe, share, swipe up, get your popcorn ready.
Peace.